Greetings, viewers all around the globe. This is the voice of heaven. I'm here to deliver a quick message. I'll be starting by reading some comments that I feel they will be margin and profitable to the man Johnson Suleman and even those listening to me right now. So the first comment says, "Good day, Apostle Johnson Suleman. I am writing this here because I believe you will watch this video and probably go through the comments because you have done it before. For that was why you came out and did the first apology, which Son of David said was not properly done. I stand by your side like the servant of Naaman the Syrian, who said to his master, and his servants came near and spoke unto him and said, My father, if the prophet had bid thee to do some great thing, wouldest thou not have done it? How much rather then? When he saith to thee, Wash and be clean. 2 Kings 5 verse 13, King James Version. Why is it too hard for you to do what this prophet is telling you to do? Is it that you don't believe that he is from God? You are a man of God and have discernment. You are even a prophet and you have listened to Son of David. Why is it difficult for you to know whether he is the one speaking through him, or you know but want to despise him? Okay, now this is a concept from a brother. This comment was done on the previous message. Now, the reason I read this comment is because of the part he said, discernment. Is it that you don't know that it is God that is speaking through him? Or you know, but you choose to despise him? In other words, a small boy, how can a small boy be advising me or dictating for me or telling me what to do? That's what the brother is saying in emphasis. Now I continue reading the comment. You are so much loved of God, and it marvels me why. This is because of all the men of God that will receive judgment at the hand of the young prophet, according to the prophecy of Son of David. You are the only one that is receiving warning and persuasion again and again to escape the judgment. God and Son of David love you so much. It's like you still have one more narrow chance. No matter how hard, please try and do it. Can a man strive with his maker? You mean you did not see any sense in what this prophet is saying? The message or teaching is with great clarity. Finally, I say this here in behalf of your assistant who never received any warning. Perhaps the Lord will look to it and avert his judgment. He might want to be submissive in all and did not know that Joab can point out errors to David to save him. Now, he also advised his assistant, like Suleman's assistant. So, and represented Suleman's assistant to advise Suleman. But remember that word, is it that you don't have discernment? You are a prophet and you have discernment. So is it that you don't know that it is God that is speaking through this prophet, or you know but you choose to despise him? Please take note of this word because I'm going to use it to drive. So now this is another comment from another brother, but this one is not on YouTube. The first one, I took it from YouTube. This one is on WhatsApp. The person came to me direct on WhatsApp and wrote this. I read, "Good morning, MOG. I trust the Lord that your house and the ministry is doing great. I just finished listening to your sermon concerning the cheap burial TB Joshua was giving, and I saw how the spirit of wisdom and revelation, you were able to tie it to the book of Revelation. I also love how you pointed out how Joab resisted King David's order to conduct census on the people, though the word of the king eventually prevailed against him, but before the records of heaven, at least he resisted initially." Now, what does this talk about? He's also giving, like, acknowledging that part that has to do with the counsel or the judgment I released against Suleman's assistants. So he went further to contribute to the things I taught after this acknowledgement I read. He said, I also noticed that in 1 Chronicles 21 verse 6, Joab refused to include Levi and Benjamin in the census because the king's word was abominable to him. But unfortunately, such mindset eludes we Christians of today because a lot of ministers have turned discipleship into idolatry. This is the reason I read these comments. Because a lot of ministers has turned discipleship to idolatry. That's why I said God didn't send him to follow Suleman like a cow. No. Be faithful, be humble, be committed, be true, be honest, be sincere. But when you see him in error and you see him doing that which is wrong, God expects you to bring it to his notice and resist him so you can save him and deliver him from destruction. Love is not silence in the midst of sin and transgression. Love is rebuke when you see a brother falling, going amiss. Are you seeing that? So now, remember the first point I asked us to note down. Is it that you don't have discernment to know that God sent him, or you know, but you choose to despise him? Now look at this. A man from France came to me on WhatsApp. I'm not saying in Nigeria, no. He is from France. So, and he is of France. So he came to me and asked me. He said, if truly Suleman is of God, as you said, how come he did not recognize TB Joshua? How come he did not discern or identify that TB Joshua is of God? Are you seeing how deep the question is? He asked, if truly Suleman is of God, as you said. Now, he wasn't doubting me. No, he wasn't doubting me. He believed what I was saying. But he was confused. It became a burden to him. So he was pondering on that. He was contemplating, trying to know if truly he is of God. How come he didn't recognize his brother? Are you seeing that now? So when he asked me this question, I made it clear to him that it is because he is distracted. Just as he said with his own mouth that God said he is distracted. Yes, when John saw Jesus, he knew. When Jesus saw John, he knew. So if you are of God and you see another man that is of God, you are expected to know. But when you treat your brother like a stranger, it is because you yourself, you have lost your nativity. You have forgotten where you came from. You have forgotten your roots. A man sang and said, I'm going back to my roots. Suleman, go back to your roots. Go back to your spiritual nativity. Go back to your spiritual genealogy. Go back to your spiritual tribe. Go back to your spiritual background. The love of this world and the things of this world, the love of the pleasure, the power of ministry has distracted you from knowing what you should know. A lot of people go to school to study different courses, to study a lot so they can show some rodomotage ostentatiously, forgetting that there are two subjects that are priority in life, that if you don't study these two subjects, you will end up a failure. One, know your God. Many of us, we have not studied God. We have not studied the language of God to know him. That is why in Isaiah, he said, as the heaven is higher than the earth, so is my way higher than your way, and my thoughts than your thoughts. And I said, a man cannot have thoughts without language. No, because in your thoughts, there are words, and those words are language. So when he said my thought is higher than your thought, it includes his language. God has his language. So, and that is why when God wrote a language, Belshazzar did not understand it. It took Daniel. So we have not studied the language of God. We have not studied the ways of God. We have not discovered God. We have not known God. The second thing is you knowing yourself. Paul said, man, know thyself. Many of you have not studied yourself. You have not discovered yourself. You have not excavated yourself. You have not delved into the mysteries that connote and that conceives you. No. But you go about studying other things when you are ignorant of yourself. Look at Jeremiah. God said, before you were formed in your mother's womb, I knew you. It means he existed elsewhere before he entered the womb. It means Jeremiah was a person in another realm, and God had fellowship with him. But as soon as he entered into the dark womb, he lost every senses of himself. He lost every data, every information concerning himself. So as soon as he was born into this world and started growing up, all Jeremiah knew were the things that he was taught in this very world. But God made him to understand that beside these things, outside these things that you know, there is more to yourself. And these things I know. So it means if Jeremiah should seek God concerning these things, God will begin to unveil them to him beyond that which he already unveiled by saying, I sanctified you, I ordained you a prophet unto the nations. So it was a revelation concerning himself. So when you choose to seek God concerning yourself, you will discover a lot of mysteries about yourself. Yes. So God has taken me to a lot of journey concerning myself and concerning people. Things that existed in the immortal world before they came into this world that they do not know. So what am I saying? If the man if the man Suleman discovered himself, he would have been able to know who TB Joshua is to him. But because he didn't bother to discover himself, he went about discovering things, knowledge, intellectuals, and the world, you know, earthly knowledge, sophistications. He forgot that there is something more precious, something more significant than the things he went for. And because he didn't have this vital information, this thing made him to fail and to miss it. And that is why he couldn't know that TB Joshua is of God at the beginning. So even when the thing began to unfold to him, because of the mistakes of the past, the things he did in the past. So, you know, if he should, you know, embrace TB Joshua fully the way he should, and say some certain things, it will make him appear stupid before his congregation and other people. And that also will also make his relationship with those men of God he acknowledged to be in shambles. So, to avoid offense against these people, he chose to live as if TB Joshua never existed, unknown to him that him embracing the reality and the veracity about TB Joshua will help his ministry to receive meaning and fulfillment. Yes. Now, there are people who don't believe in Suleman because he criticized TB Joshua. Are you seeing that now? The same way, there are people who don't believe in TB Joshua because Suleman criticized him. Now, imagine Suleman discovered himself and knew that TB Joshua is his brother, and it is his duty from God that he should defend his brother TB Joshua. Check what the outcome will be. Those who believe in TB Joshua will believe in Suleman, and those who believe in Suleman will believe in TB Joshua. So through this, you will see that the work of God will take much effort, and both of them, their ministry will become more Brobdinnagian. Are you seeing that now? So, but because he did not do this, there are people who hate him now that don't supposed to hate him. There are people who detest him that don't supposed to detest him. And there are still people who despises TB Joshua who don't supposed to. Because ignorance made these people not to know that these people ought to affiliate. They ought to come together as brothers in the spirit. And that is why last year I began to teach people TB Joshua's spiritual tribe and Suleman's spiritual tribe, which is Judah. TB Joshua is from the tribe of Joseph and Suleman is from the tribe of Judah. And I showed us their connection, how they became brothers. And I told us that the young prophet is in between them. Yes. And that is why Suleman is going to notice and acknowledge the young prophets even though he did not acknowledge TB Joshua. Because the ministry of the young prophet will make some things very pronounced and real, so visible that Suleman's ignorance will vanish and knowledge and understanding will come to consciousness. So through the young prophet, Suleman will get to know who TB Joshua is to him. Yes. So back to the word designments. A true man of God should be able to design and know a true man of God. So when a true man of God begins to see another true man of God as a fake man of God, it is because the spirit in him is corrupted. It is because the spirit he contains is affected. Something has hacked his ministry and has deposited a strange thing. The Bible says when men slept, the enemy came and sowed evil seed. So there's an evil seed that is resisting him from understanding what is before him. So a man can see an angel, and an angel will look like a mortal man to him. Look at those in Sodom. They saw an angel, angels who came to burn Sodom, and they wanted to take them by force to molest them sexually. Are you seeing how stupid they were? So a man can be this foolish macaronically. So it's applicable to your men of God who have scale in their eyes. They see an angel standing before them and they say that the angel is too small because something has happened to them. They don't know who they are. They don't know who God is. So how then will they know who a man of God is? They are distracted. Why am I still emphasizing on this word distraction, which God told him that he spoke about? Because he doesn't actually know what that distraction represents. No, he understood it wrongly because he's still in that boat of distraction. He's still sailing distractively. So I'm trying to make him understand that he lost his purpose. He lost his focus. He lost his path. Yes, he's lost in the. He's like a man that is lost in the bush. He needs help. He needs a man to lead him, and that is why God has sent me to him. So for him to come out of that bush of destruction, that forest of damnation, he must follow my lead. If he doesn't and continue to despise and look down, he will see hell. The Bible said that God uses the foolishness of this world to confound the wise. He said he will use babies to confound the elders. So these men read the Bible, they see these things, but when these things begin to play out in reality before their face, they still resist it. Because of what? Pride. The pride of life. The pride of life. Now look at this. When TB Joshua was alive, God sent him as a lamp. In one of my upcoming messages, I'm going to emphasize very well on this word lamp. But for some reasons, for this message not to be too long, I won't delve into it too much. God sent him as a lamp, and as a lamp, he can't retaliate. As a lamp, he's designed to die. So when they begin to crucify him, Suleman was sent as a lion, meaning with a judgmental ministry. Suleman was sent to reveal the judgmental side of God, and TB Joshua was sent to reveal the mercy side of God. Yes. So now the one that is sent to reveal the mercy side of God is like Gabriel, and the one that is sent to reveal the judgment side of God is like Michael. Now remember, when Gabriel was on assignment to Daniel, the Bible said that the prince of Persia withstood him. What happened? Did Gabriel fight? Did Gabriel escape by himself? No. What happened? Michael came to fight and Gabriel passed. That is how God expected Suleman to walk with TB Joshua. But he did not. He watched him dying. He watched him being criticized, persecuted, and he didn't utter anything. So when he wanted to say something, saw an opportunity, he castigated him and destroyed him. Yes. So when the man now died, he came out to say some irrational, illogical things. And after that, he came again to defend himself in the name of apology, and I made peace with him. So you see, this is demonic. As if that was not enough, you came to steal a man's glory and give it to another man. Now, this is where the vision I saw yesterday comes in. What is the vision? In that vision, I saw Suleman and Pastor Chris transacting. Suleman paid Pastor Chris, gave him some amount of money. This is a parable, so don't be fast to draw conclusion. It's a riddle. Now, he paid him some money and asked for some wood so he can use it to build fence around him. So, and Pastor Chris gave him those woods. Unknown to Suleman that those wood were not actually strong. They were not strong, so they won't last. So he planted them on the ground as a fence round, and the wood was not even enough. So there was a particular place that was not filled. He was like planting them on the ground in cycle. So there's this particular space that was empty, that was not filled. The wood was not enough. So while he was yet complaining about this, a wind came, and all those wood that he planted on the ground for fence fell on the ground. Then it was now known to him, now occurred to him, that those woods were not even good. But Pastor Chris knew, but kept quiet and took the money. So then when these things fell, and it now occurred to Suleman that the wood were not even good, so he now asked for his money back. At this point in time, Pastor Chris was now going. So this vision ended. What does it mean? The wood that he used for defense is the affiliation, is the league making, is the alliance that he seeks in Pastor Chris. And then the manner and the pattern by which he does these things, even Pastor Chris in his consciousness and subconsciousness knows that these things are wrong. But he didn't speak because of the kind of person he is. Himself is also a betrayer of a brother. Now, if you remember, there was a time TB Joshua invited Pastor Chris to his church. Is it because TB Joshua cannot heal? What gift does Pastor Chris have in him that TB Joshua does not have in abundance? Is it healing? Is it deliverance? Tell me. Or is it prophecy that Pastor Chris does not have? So why did he invite him? Simple. Just for friendship. To receive him. So that it will not look as if maybe he discriminates. He doesn't want to, entertain and endorse unity in the body of Christ. He loved what Pastor Chris was doing. So he wanted to bring him to his own ministry. So to show this brotherly concern. But alongside, Pastor Chris deviated, joined himself with others. TB Joshua was discriminated because Pastor Chris was after this word. And TB Joshua, who was sent as a lamb, was crucified. So what am I saying? Now, Pastor Chris knows that these things that Suleman did are wrong, but he kept quiet. But it was not so clear to Suleman at the beginning because he has scale in his eyes, the scale of this world. So, but when the wind of judgment, which I have prophesied and decreed about, comes, what will happen? It will be clear to him that he has erred. So, him asking for the money back means he will take his words back. Whether he comes to the public to say it or not, himself will know that that which he said is error. Those respect he gave, those glory he gave, he doesn't support. So he will take it back. That is what God is saying. So if this man will continue in his pride to resist the reality that is before him, he is going to face massive destruction. And if he does not come to the public to do as I said, those things I talked about will happen to him, and that will vindicate me. Yes, your stubbornness cannot disgrace me. Do you know why? Because God sent me and I spoke his words. So if I'm disgraced, then God is the one that is disgraced. So God cannot watch you to disgrace his name. No. So that is to say, you have two options. It's either you obey and avert the cause, or I get vindicated through the manifestation, just like last year and this year. Last year I said things, people hated me for it, but this year I'm vindicated of those things. Yes. Now I want you to also observe something. He was saying that he acknowledges things about Pastor Chris. There are things he sees that makes him to marvel. Child of God, if you look at Suleman, you will realize there are things in TB Joshua that he admired and copied, but he didn't say them. For instance, we all know that TB Joshua started healing ministry through the screen. He lays his hand like this and asks you to connect and you get hit. At the beginning, they criticized him for this. Just the same way he started the prophetic and they criticized him, he opened that door. He was the one that paved that prophetic sea, and others followed. He made it easy and lighter for them. And even Suleman is into the prophetic ministry. That tells you he's your brother. But he was the one that carried that attack. He was the one that received the arrows at the beginning. So now later he started this screen healing, which they criticize. But if you look at Suleman sometimes, you see him doing like this. And the camera begins to zoom his hand also. Where did he get that in from? TB Joshua. Did he acknowledge it or say it? No. Child of God, if you look at Suleman and Pastor Chris, you won't see any homogeneity, no similarity, nothing synonymous about them. Frankly speaking, nothing. Doctrinal, they are contradictory. Pastor Chris believes that masturbation is not a sin. Suleman believes that is a sin through his teaching. Check the lines of his messages, you will know. Now, Pastor Chris don't believe in foundational causes. Suleman believes in pattern. Killing of witches. Are you seeing contradiction? So I'm just using this as instance. There are so many contradictions between these two people, both in lifestyle, teaching, administration. So what are you admiring there? I don't understand. And the man, Prophet TB Joshua, who you despise, you copied some things from him, which you did not say in the public. You admire these things, and you even have a lot in common with him in regard of doctrine and some certain things. Yet it is difficult for you to acknowledge him. This is witchcraft. It's witchcraft. Galatians 3, all foolish Galatians, who has bewitched you? What will bring bewitchment? It is when a man is distracted. Adam and Eve were asked not to eat from the fruit, but Eve was staring at the fruit. He lusted after the fruit. That is where bewitchment started. He said it is good for the sight, and she plucked of it and ate, and they died. So the true spirit of God in you died because you were distracted. I'm still laying emphasis on the word distraction that you don't understand yet. Go back to your roots. Trace your spiritual genealogy. This is the message I brought here. There is an arrow fired in the spirit against you. The arrow will soon pierce you if you don't do as I instructed. This is the voice of heaven, Son of David. Wisdom is crying in the streets of YouTube. I see you again.